The Mighty Ducks Game Changers takes place 20 years after the events of the original movies. And if you like recaps that are mostly half-remembered anecdotes and terrible impressions, then here you go. And if you found this channel while searching for earnest discussions of Mighty Ducks Game Changers, I apologize in advance. That is not what we do here. The Mighty Ducks are now the elite powerhouse team in the world of junior hockey, and they are completely under the wing of Hendrick Sports at this point. They've got a kick-ass new hockey pavilion, and their new color scheme appears to be Jason in the Nintendo version of Friday the 13th. So the show begins during the first practice of the new hockey season. The Ducks are now led by Coach T, and they've won a record 10 state championships. And one of those was won by this kid, if you can believe it. But these kids today have zero respect for the 90s Ducks.
A little different than the Ducks of the 90s. They actually used to quack.
Adorable.
Why, you disrespectful little shits.
Now, these Ducks, they train like it's a job. They study tape. They get hip flexor injuries.
And we learn that the Mighty Ducks are the villains in this show because they actually train and now they study tape. Like, they don't roll an egg across the ice or pick up garbage once. Evan Morrow and his mom Alex arrive late to the first practice, and we learn that all the Ducks' parents take hockey way too seriously. The kids are moving up to the 12 to 14 age bracket, and Evan gives it his all, but is very quickly cut from the team by Coach T. In fact, I think he is the only person who was cut. And after the huge scandal in the 90s, it is now expressly forbidden for coaches to have sexual relations with the players' moms. So I don't see an easy solution for Evan to make it back on the team. Man, Gordon really messed things up for everybody. And I mean, it does suck that Evan got cut, but he was also, incredibly late to the first practice. So, that's pretty disrespectful to the rest of his teammates. Coach T tries to let him down easy and tells him that he works hard and he's good, but he's not good enough. Evan pushes the issue and forces the coach to tell him in front of everyone that he's too small to play at the next level.
You should find something you can be really good at. I mean, at this age, if you can't be great at hockey, it's like, don't bother.
Alex gives an impassioned speech about playing hockey for fun and, oh god, they're recording it. This video's gonna go viral, isn't it? I wish I loved anything as much as Disney loves having videos go viral. You know how hard it is to go viral on YouTube? In my day, going viral meant taking out a big ad in the penny saver. So Alex decides that they should start their own hockey team. All they need is 6 players, a home rink, and a coach over the age of 21. So then begins the search for kids that can skate, but that also have some ironic flaw that makes the idea of them playing hockey seem extremely silly. So they try and fail to recruit Sam, who is the daredevil of the school.
Somebody dares you to do something. You gotta do it, right?
Oh dear God, don't listen to that, children. You can back out of a dare. Evan asks his friend Sophie to quit the Ducks and join their team, and she refuses. At lunch, Evan gets rejected from the Ducks table, and they all make fun of him because his mom's video went viral. As every video does, every time it's posted. And I love how the Ducks are the evil powerhouse team, yet they're still kind of dorks. Alex is struggling to find a rink to use, while Evan and Nick discover an awesome goalie that they're playing against online. They find out his gamer tag is Coob13, and he's played the game for 10,000 hours and has never been scored upon. And in a frightening turn of events for this universe, they find Coob's address seemingly within a few minutes. You know, lots of broken and vulnerable children with low hockey self-esteem, whose addresses are just readily available online. It's like a pedophile's dream world.
We're starting a new hockey team, and you're such an amazing video game goalie. You're a wall. We were wondering if you want to join us. Be our wall.
This is right up there with recruiting figure skaters because you assume that just because they skate, then they must be great hockey players.
And why would you think I could even play for real?
That's what I said. So to test their theory, they just start chucking things at this kid they just met, and luckily for them, their gamble pays off. Otherwise, they would have just been bullying the overweight kid. And then he'd have to start another hockey team for kids that were mistreated by the new team that was mistreated by the Ducks. And that is just far too much scrappy underdogness.
Then I'd have to wear pants.
Oh dear God, I used that excuse twice yesterday. Alex works for an evil properties management firm, and while trying to get people to move out, she notices the Ice Palace, and it is the saddest ice dump I've ever seen. The proprietor of the Ice Palace is none other than Gordon Bombay.
Okay, we met. That was fun. Take care now. I'm guessing you didn't see the sign? Kind of says it all. I hate hockey.
And Gordon is back to being a dick who hates hockey.
I have money.
How much are we talking about? I think we might be able to find some wiggle room on the no hockey thing.
Oh, and he's motivated solely by money again. Evan and Nick score a lucky break when Logan moves into the neighborhood, and this kid looks legit. And with zero regard for what's best for Logan, Nick and Evan invite him to play on their hockey team. Like, do they feel guilty at all? It's this kind of deception that probably held Adam Banks back. And it's also the same crap they pulled against Spike and Little Giants. Oh, what?
I actually suck. Okay. That's it. I'm done. Why do I bother?
Okay. I mean, Evan, you can't even be that mad at Logan. Everyone misrepresented themselves in this situation. Evan wants to quit, but his mom tries to keep his spirits alive. Gordon, who is reduced to eating the leftover birthday cakes from the birthday parties at the ice rink, tells Alex that she has to stop babying Evan and let him become his own man.
Back off, or this boy is never going to become his own man. You got to lay off your mom, Evan.
So that I can lay on her. Oh, Gordon, you are nasty. Evan and Nick have one more day to dupe 3 more players, and Evan makes a speech to the whole school in the cafeteria. Quirky Lauren Gibby says she'll play.
I've never played hockey, but I think I might have an inner rage that really needs an outlet.
Whoa. You had us said I've never played hockey. Get on over here. The popular girl Maya, who was sick of the other popular girls, and then they dare Sam to join their team.
I dare you to join our hockey team.
Somebody dares you to do something, you gotta do it.
Again, that is not accurate, buddy.
And I'm just gonna throw this Gatorade bottle away.
So not with ya?
That's not cool.
Yeah, we recycle here. We then get to the Southeastern Minnesota Club Division Team Day. It's like a football jamboree, but I believe in hockey they call it the Ice-capades. Am I right there? I think that's right. So they have a team but no coach, and Evan suggested his mom coach them.
I have never even played hockey.
Shh. You had me at I have never even played hockey. Get on over here. So they announce all the teams, but Alex tells them to wait because they have one more. And in a throwback to the original movies, they show how lax the rules still are in this league. They are at team day. They probably have the schedule all drawn up, and now they just allow 6 kids to just walk up and form a team? Like there's not even an entry fee? Hell, there's probably not even an age limit.
What's your name?
The Don't Bothers!
Haha, alright, good dig, but he might take you seriously.
You sure that's the name you want to go with?
Okay, good, you have an out.
Yeah!
Oh no.
But not for long, because we're coming for yours. Flying V!
Okay, so now these scrappy don't bothers want to eventually take over the name of the Ducks, a name that is owned by someone else. So that was the first episode of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, and even though he sucks, they should have had a grown-up Charlie running a failing business and eating nothing but old birthday cakes, and have Gordon as the Hans, Jan mentor type. Oh, Hans, Jan, and Gordon. It totally works. I will say I am interested to see what happens when Evan's plan to take over the Ducks comes to fruition. Like, is Gordon gonna invoke the right of prima nocta and breed the Ducks out of existence? Gordon hates hockey, and he hates kids, but he loves the mothers of hockey kids. So episode 2 begins with the Don't Bothers gearing up for their first practice. Alex is nervous because she's never coached hockey and doesn't really know anything about hockey, and trust me, that doesn't matter in this universe. Just Google hockey practice fundamentals and you'll be light years ahead of the most famous coach of the Ducks.
Today, we won't be touching the ice, but we will be breaking the ice.
Oh, dear God. I mean, they have like 5 days before their first game.
Want to play by the Ducks rules? We're a different kind of team. We're nice, and they can suck it.
You can be nice and actually try to be good at hockey. Alex wants them to play outside in, where they sit in a circle and reveal something about themselves that everyone knows from the outside, and one thing that no one knows from the inside. I would strongly suggest you get on the ice. Almost half your team doesn't know how to skate yet, and I know you're just here to have fun, but a fractured ankle doesn't sound like very much fun at all. So on the outside, Sam is a crazy daredevil skateboarder, and on the inside, he has no spleen because it burst when he ran into a stop sign. I don't even know what the spleen does, but based solely on Mighty Ducks rules, it's probably the organ that regulates your temperature when you're on the ice. Maya can zero in on someone's weakness and destroy them. So I guess if someone isn't that strong skating backwards, she could try to skate circles around them and disorient them. Okay, I can see that.
Like, I might tell you that your puffy vest is very 2017, and then every time I saw you, I'd say other things from 2017 just to get in your head.
Oh, so she's basically just a jerk. I mean, I guess if someone on the other team is cripplingly insecure, then yeah, that could be effective. As someone who still wears cargo shorts, this worries me a little bit. But you know what? Cargo shorts are stylish and functional, and I wouldn't even care what a middle schooler said about them. That's a lie. It would definitely ruin my day.
I used to have a crippling fear of death, but then I realized the fact that we'll have this vast nothingness waiting for us. In a strange way, it gives me a sense of peace.
Okay, so a rage-filled nihilist who doesn't fear death? Now we're talking. Lauren just jumped to the top of the Don't Bother's leaderboard. Coob is a gamer who believes that we're all living in a digital simulation. I can't even make fun of that because if you look at the data, it makes sense. On the outside, Logan has great hair, and on the inside, he and his dad moved in with his aunt because his mom had an affair. Oh man, I bet she had an affair with Gordon.
On the outside, I love hockey, and on the inside, I also love hockey.
Boring as hell. Alex then suggests they do trust falls, and Evan is fed up and just wants to play hockey, so he goes to Gordon's office to appeal to him. And if you want to learn actual hockey, Evan, then you are barking up the way wrong tree. Oh man, Gordon, it's the middle of the day. You know what? Hockey has just chewed him up and spit him out, so trust me, Evan, your mom is the best option.
1 to 3 is my nap time.
Good God, Gordon, you were a high-priced attorney, man, and I'm pretty sure you still have your law license. What happened to you? Again, this would make way more sense if this was Charlie Conway. Evan again tries to get his friend Sophie to leave the Ducks and come play for the Don't Bothers. Don't drag her down into the sewer with you, Evan. She's actually good, so this is only beneficial to you. She would get nothing out of this deal. Alex asks Gordon if he has any extra hockey equipment they can borrow, and Gordon tells her that he burned every piece of hockey equipment in the place.
That wasn't even the darkest thing I did that day.
I mean, seriously, the reveal for why Gordon is like this cannot live up to what I'm imagining in my head. For the Ducks' second practice, we get more of the same from Alex, and instead of letting them use pucks, they practice with beach balls. Gordon's shitty coaching sense is tingling.
We have our very first game against the Cardinals on Saturday. It does not matter if we win or lose. I thought we would have our award ceremony tonight.
So they're all just weird, frivolous awards. But Logan gets Best Attitude, and that is the biggest slap in the face award you could ever possibly receive. I know, because I've received several of them. This is the award you give to the kid who smiles a lot, even when they're sitting on the bench.
What do you think is going to happen on the game on Saturday?
It doesn't matter. That's the point. It doesn't matter what happens in the game on Saturday. No one's life is going to be affected by the outcome. What happens out there on the ice does not define us.
Our team doesn't even have hockey sticks, and our goalie is wearing an oven mitt.
I mean, Evan is 100% correct, and it's also not fair to the parents of any teams that play against the Don't Bothers. If my kid played hockey and took it seriously, and their opponents were wearing horse riding helmets and a cloak, it would just make me feel sad. And that wouldn't be fair to me. Like, the message of the Mighty Ducks is pretty weird. I get that you should have fun and not take things too seriously, but there is nothing wrong with trying to actually be good. They always preach that winning doesn't matter as long as you have fun, but then they get their asses kicked and don't have fun until they finally take it seriously and train and practice and eventually win the championship and are then happy. Like, the only underdog sports movie that did it perfectly was Rocky. And Rocky IV. And Rocky III. Rocky Balboa was also great. Oh, and Creed. And also Creed II. So later that night, Alex is, well, loitering, basically, when Gordon gets on the ice to hit the puck around.
I think maybe you're happy that we're here playing hockey.
No, I'm not.
Turns out I could really use your help with the kids, so if you ever feel like being a nice guy, let me know.
I have your credit card on file. Why don't we just keep it at that?
If someone is rude to me once, I'm just like, all right, one less person I have to make small talk with. But Gordon treats Alex like absolute shit every time they interact, and she just keeps chugging along. And like, we know they're gonna end up together, but Gordon is such a sad sack that I don't quite see what Alex would get out of this relationship. I mean, for Gordon, it's just another notch on his hockey mom wall. Gordon tells her that he doesn't like what the Ducks have become, and if they need equipment, then they should check out the Ducks Lost and Found. So the crew heads to the Hendricks Hockey Pavilion for the equipment heist. Evan played for the Ducks and knows the layout, so he's the inside man. Logan is the face, and Sam is the wild card. So that leaves Maya is the mean girl, and Lauren is the wood elf. It's an obscure member of any heist, but very important in extremely specific circumstances. So Evan gets the receptionist to unlock the Lost and Found.
By the way, you look great in brown.
And I think Alex should have reiterated that Logan is not required to have sex with this woman.
Get your stuff, let's hit the streets. Oh, hey, size 9, that's nice.
So the team that just wants to have fun and doesn't care about winning then steals $5,000 worth of hockey equipment. So it's time for the first game, and Alex surprises them with Don't Bother jerseys and names Evan as the captain. And you can't even call favoritism on that one. He is the only one who actually knows hockey terms. It is a low bar on the Don't Bothers. The game begins, and it is an absolute massacre. And the Don't Bothers lose 12-0, while Gordon watches in disgust. And after the game, morale is pretty low, and Alex again says that it doesn't matter, and the only thing that does matter is having fun.
Just remember, we didn't start this team to be the best. We started this team to have fun.
But the thing is, Getting your ass kicked that bad isn't fun at all.
I mean, I know it sucks, but you did just start practicing with a puck less than 12 hours ago. So Evan leads a practice after the game, and Alex decides that maybe, just maybe, the coach of a hockey team should know something about hockey. So that's a wrap on episode 2, and so far it's pretty standard stuff. They aren't breaking the underdog sports movie mold very much. I mean, hell, they're barely breaking the original Mighty Ducks mold. But maybe there will be some surprises along the way. But what we need is a Gordon Bombay-centric episode. I gotta know what happened there. The Don't Bothers are trying to pick up the pieces from their humiliating loss against the Cardinals, and they're gearing up for their next game against the Mighty Ducks. Oh, I'm sorry, against the evil Mighty Ducks. Nick says they need a sharpshooter on the team, and he suggests that Evan try to trick Sophie into joining. They try to convince Sophie by saying that since there are so many good players on the Ducks, she would have a more difficult time being noticed by scouts. But if she was the best player on a team that sucked, then they would notice her more. I think the scouts would probably be too distracted by literally everything else to even notice her, but the theory makes sense. The Don't Bothers begin practicing, and Alex is finally doing what she should have been doing all along. So they're actually finally trying, and then here comes Gordon on a Zamboni barreling through their practice.
Do you have to do this right now?
Yeah.
I mean, there are only 10 episodes in this season. They have not even started to smooth out some of Gordon's rough edges.
There's practice going on here. Although if you have any tips, I would take them. I'm drowning.
You could stop playing hockey.
I mean, seriously, why the hell does he hate hockey so much? He had a career-ending hockey injury at the beginning of Mighty Ducks 2. Remember the torn scrot? Gordon is well on his way to being called up to the NHL when he gets checked into the boards and rips open his ball sack. It is horrific. And he seemed fine coaching Team USA in the Junior Goodwill games. And then in Mighty Ducks 3, he went to work for the Junior Goodwill games, and he seemed perfectly content and happy watching the team he coached doing so well without him. What could have happened for this grown man to be this miserable 20 years later? I mean, is the big reveal going to be that Gordon was supposed to be watching Charlie one day while he was swimming, when his mom went to the store, and Gordon turned away and Charlie drowned and Gordon never forgave himself? Also, Charlie was 28 at the time? Like, why is he like this?
Like, what is it with you in this sport? It's so weird.
Yes it is. Alex then goes to the internet to try to find out what the hell happened to Gordon. She finds an article about Gordon being fired from a head coaching position at St. Paul State. Regarded as a hockey icon, he is considered to be one of the most iconic, really? They used icon twice in the same sentence? And influential athletes in the history of ice hockey. His longevity and success have earned him the informal title of the Godfather of Hockey. Literally never heard him called that. Like, did Gordon write that first paragraph? Okay, so hyperbole aside, I mean, is that it? He got fired from a coaching position? Do you know how many jobs I've been fired from? You dust yourself off and you just steal office supplies and poop on the hood of your boss's car and just apply to another Staples in a different town. Trust me, none of them are connected and they do not check. Evan and Sophie are studying for the quiz when Trevor comes in and starts giving Evan crap.
Since you were cut, everyone's up their game. No one wants to be the new worst player on the team. See you Sunday.
I kind of miss the Hawks.
I don't get why he has to be so mean like that.
Because he's a duck. That's what they do.
Like, we are watching the Mighty Ducks, and we are rooting against the Mighty Ducks. Evan goes so far as to make a jersey for Sophie. Sophie's mom catches her and probably thinks she's hiding drugs.
What do you got there? Is that a Don't Bothers jersey?
In terms of my ice time and individual stats, they might actually go up if I was the star of a less good team.
That's ridiculous.
And the way she reacts, you would think she probably would have been happier if it was drugs. And there's a subplot where the snack girl Winnie gets dumped by the Coco delivery guy, Coco Chad. She's heartbroken, and Nick tries to console her as he has a crush on her. And Coco Chad comes back to try to win her back, and Nick says he'll take the flowers and relay the message, but Gordon catches him throwing the flowers in the dumpster.
You're throwing them away and not telling her? We're gonna have a little talk.
Okay, so is Gordon finally gonna have a heart-to-heart with someone?
Right now, Winnie is sad. And sad Winnie is not good for me, because I've had to refill a ton of ketchup bottles, and that makes me sad.
Okay, maybe I can get behind him hating hockey, but is Winnie not Gordon's friend at least? Like, he has no human empathy left. I mean, neither do I, but I haven't had my redeeming character arc yet. Gordon has. 3 movies worth. And he was happy and content and had finally defeated his demons by the end of D3.
I know what it's like to be your age and have a older, cute girl pay attention to you.
She was 47, and her name was Midge. Her son played on my hockey team.
And when I was 13, I had this mad crush on my babysitter.
What happened with you two?
It doesn't matter, but the point is, you and Winnie aren't going to happen.
So that implies that it did happen with Gordon and his babysitter. All right, so let's recap. The Ducks are basically the Hawks, the Don't Bothers are basically the Ducks, and Gordon is basically still a dog. So reminiscing about his babysitter has Gordon keyed up, so he takes Alex's coaching journal and draws what appears to be a crude outline for a bank robbery. What the hell, Gordon? Sophie shows up to the Don't Bothers practice angry that she got a B on her math quiz because she had pizza with Evan instead of studying. Evan tries to say that the Don't Bothers are the good guys, but she tells him that she's not leaving the Ducks. We get to the game between the Ducks and the Don't Bothers, and just to prove Evan and Nick's theory about Sophie's exposure on the Ducks wrong, she single-handedly scores the Ducks' first 9 points. I mean, yeah, Sophie, you're one of the top players on the premier hockey team, but if you join the Don't Bothers, the old guy who runs the place will be extremely rude to you all the time. Huh? You won't get that kind of experience with the Ducks. The Ducks run up the score 17-0, and Lauren asks Alex if she has anything they can try. Alex opens her notebook and finds a play that Gordon drew up called The Breakaway. The play involves Logan pretending to fall on the puck while Coop sneaks it to Evan. Evan races down the rink, and after a sweet spin move, he manages to score the Don't Bothers' first goal of the season. Okay, so they just need 17 more trick plays, and they've got a real shot of winning this thing. So the Don't Bothers lose 17-1, but it's progress. And Winnie congratulates Nick after the game, and she says that she broke up with Coco Chad to date the mustard delivery guy, Mustard Tim. Nick is in hell right now. After the game, Coach T is pissed that they allowed the Don't Bothers to score even a single goal, and he forces them to practice right after the game. Sophie sees how much fun the Don't Bothers are having with scoring 1 goal, and so she quits the Ducks to join the Don't Bothers.
We got our first goal. The play worked. I did some research on you. You were really the heart of the old Ducks. You, Gordon Bombay, are the Minnesota Miracle Man. The one thing I don't know is how, with all of that, do you end up with this? How can you say you hate hockey?
I did play pro. 19-year-old player hit me so hard, he tore my
scrotum
in half.
Gordon tells her that when he was a college coach, he broke the recruitment rules by giving money to a kid who couldn't afford to fix his equipment.
Turns out they're actual state laws.
You didn't know there were laws about that? You were a lawyer. Gordon was asked to resign and told he could never coach college hockey again. And Gordon tells her that he inherited the ice palace and a mountain of debt from Jan after those burglars put 2 bullets in his brain pan, only to end up stealing $18 and a DVD player. What a waste. Okay, so maybe I can understand the hating hockey, but not completely. If anything, the bureaucracy and business side of college and the pros should have reignited Gordon's passion for Pee Wee hockey. I mean, he's bitter about the hockey thing, but where did this come from?
I have 24 hours to find a coach.
Here's the long and short of it. I hate hockey, and I don't like kids.
Why did he hate kids again? And if Gordon is as much of a legend around here as it seems, the dude should be able to write his own ticket. Anyone in a small town with even a tiny bit of celebrity is on Easy Street. Like, he could run for mayor and win in a landslide. His slogan could be like, I want to get this city back on track. Like, it's a slam dunk. Or, a comparable hockey term. So Evan calls Sophie, and she hasn't told her parents yet, and her playing for the Don't Bothers is contingent on them saying yes. So for the first time, Gordon finally looks happy and content, and is that a jar of pickled eggs? Why would you need that? Anyways, Gordon rips down the no hockey sign and end credits. So, okay, they took the long way to get here, but I'm finally ready for this show to wow me. I'm not giving up on it just yet. I mean, the next episode is called Hockey Moms, so that's right in Gordon's wheelhouse. The Mighty Ducks Game Changers Episode 4 is titled Hockey Moms, which is also written at the top of Gordon's to-do list. Coach T is still punishing the Ducks for allowing the Don't Bothers to score a goal on them.
We gave up a goal to a bunch of clowns. I like to laugh at clowns. I do not like it when clowns laugh at me.
Do you have Prince Albert in a
so
can?
Coach T...
You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out.
So Coach T...
Yeah, Mike Hanlon said I had to go. Said I had to get cleaned up.
So Coach T...
Hell yeah.
Oh my God. Coach T is right. That is no fun at all. Sophie still hasn't told her parents about her decision to join the Don't Bothers, so she goes directly from Ducks practice to Don't Bothers practice and is starting to get worn down.
I pass to Sophie. Go, Sophie.
Are you okay? Because I kind of told everyone you're amazing.
Evan, Sophie could have the flu and still be the best person on this team, so how about you just back off? Alex says that she needs Sophie's parents to sign the permission slip before she can play for the Don't Bothers, and she tells her to wait until her parents are in a good mood to tell them. That night, her family is celebrating her older brother being accepted into Harvard. Sophie finds out that the only reason her brother plays the French horn is because her parents found out 5 years ago that Harvard was going to need French horn players for their orchestra this year. Okay. And they want Sophie to play for the Ducks because they're the top team in the state, which will let her go to the top school. Does Harvard admissions really care who you play hockey for when you're 12? I mean, they might. I have no idea. I didn't go to college. I decided to take a year off and backpack through Europe. I got mugged a lot, and whatever money the muggers didn't beat out of me was lost through several currency exchange scams. Such a fun 4 years, though. Alex and Gordon are locking up the Ice Palace when Alex's boss Stephanie and her husband drive by looking for a restaurant and proceed to be insufferable pricks.
Gordon Bombay.
You were at St. Paul State. Where'd you disappear to?
Instead of chatting here and maybe getting stabbed, can we buy you guys dinner?
They invite Alex and Gordon to dinner, and Gordon's rude abrasiveness is finally directed at someone who deserves it.
You ever get punched in the face?
Sorry, what?
I mean in hockey or in real life, I'm guessing both.
There you go, Gordon. Okay, see, I like a-hole Gordon, but only when he's an a-hole to people who deserve it. It's like the Gordon from the movies and the mean sad sack from the first 3 episodes, through some kind of radioactive hockey accident merged to form Dick Man, who only uses his rudeness for good.
The Huskies just backed out of the Mom Skills Challenge.
Mom Skills Challenge?
Easy, Gordon. Man, that really perked him up, didn't it? Just the word moms. Every year, the Ducks moms compete against a different team's moms in different hockey challenges. Stephanie is the reigning champion of the Slap Shot Challenge 6 years running. The team they were going to compete against backs out, and Gordon nominates the Don't Bother's moms to compete and says that Alex will challenge Stephanie in the Slap Shot contest.
I don't even have a slap shot. She's gonna crush me.
No, she's not. Trust me.
I just need several oscillating fans, 1 oversized rubber chicken, and a box of ping pong balls. It'll all make sense when we get on the ice. Sophie forges her mom's signature and is officially a don't bother. Nick is trying very hard to be Evan's best friend and invites Evan over for a sleepover.
I was wondering if maybe you'd want to sleep over tonight?
Sure.
Success! Good job, Nick. Operation Best Friend for Life is a go. They notice Coop sitting by himself and try to get him to open up.
You're a team and you're a big part of it. The suckiest part.
Oh no, Coop, don't say that. You all suck.
Last game you scored. Great. But I let in 17 other goals.
Oh man, that is a good point. And everybody was celebrating last game and you probably felt worthless. So Evan invites Coop to the sleepover to try to help cheer him up. So Alex gathers all of the moms to practice, and you have Nick's moms, Sherry and Paula, Maya's mom, Lisa, Sam's mom, Danielle, Lauren's mom, Christine, and since Logan's mom is a homewrecker and abandoned her family, Logan's dad, Harris, shows up in her place, and he is just a broken shell of a man.
Here's a picture with his mom in happier times, but she left us.
You don't have to share any of this.
She was an architect. She told me she had to work late because the blueprints were due. Turns out the blueprints were actually named Tom.
Good God. You know, and it should be noted that Gordon's full name is Gordon Thomas Bombay. So my theory still holds water.
I'm just here because I need to be reminded that there are still wonderful women in the world.
Uh-oh, he's trying to weasel in on Gordon's action. Better watch out, Harris. Gordon doesn't like to share.
Hi, Moms. Coach Bombay. Perhaps some of you have heard of me. Today we're going to be working on some puck handling, some target practice, and the slap shot. So we're going to be looking at your strengths as well as your weaknesses. Let's go.
Man, Gordon is freaking amped up. The dude just loves hockey moms so much. Seriously, this is the happiest we've seen him all season. Gordon works one-on-one with Alex to prepare for the slap shot, but she just wants to give up.
You have taken too much crap from too many people for far too long.
Yeah, one of those people was you. Gordon wants Alex to get angry and shut down all the people who gave her shit.
And what about Stephanie? Talking smack about the Ice Palace? She's so afraid to come down into this neighborhood?
We did have that string of murders.
It was 2 blocks away.
Seriously, this episode was actually pretty funny. Alex tells Gordon about the office Christmas party where everyone was celebrating, but she had to work and no one even saved her any pecan pie. Gordon gets her to use that to unleash her anger and it works. Gordon tries to move behind her to show her, and his junk definitely brushed against her leg accidentally, and she gets flustered and says she has to go. Oh, Gordon, how many times have you tried that move, you old horny dog? The sleepover's going all right when Nick's mom makes them all give up their cell phones, and Coob looks like he could cry. And honestly, so would I. I mean, no screens after 10 at a sleepover? That's pretty harsh. Like, how are you supposed to beat Battletoads or watch the R-rated 80s comedy that you tricked your friend's mom into renting? So Coob has entered a deep state of depression now that his phone is gone. And Evan and Nick try to get him to open up. Coob is never not on a screen and doesn't know how to act without one, so instead of using this as an opportunity to get Coob to branch out and try new things, they just set up a plan to steal his phone back. They need to create a distraction, and Nick mentions that his mom's like show tunes.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
Coob! Holy shit, buddy! So Coob serenades them with a haunting rendition of I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis, and Nick's mom's and the audience are just transported through space and time. Like, you can feel Fontaine's pain. The heist is a success, but Coop realizes that he's down to 1% and he didn't bring a charger. Coop's phone dies, but he realizes that he had more fun trying to get the phone than actually being on it. Sophie has to leave Don't Bother's practice early to make it to the Ducks' mom's practice, and she forgets to take off her Don't Bother's jersey, and everyone freaks out. Sophie finally confronts her parents, but they won't let her quit the Ducks. Sophie says that if the Don't Bother's moms win the Hockey Moms Challenge, then Sophie gets to play for the Don't Bothers, and if the Ducks' moms win, then she'll stay on the Ducks. Her parents agree because they don't think the Don't Bother's moms will actually win. The competition begins and the score is tied at 5, and it all comes down to the slap shot challenge between Stephanie and Alex. They each get 3 shots and the highest speed wins. Stephanie goes first and her first shot is 35 miles per hour, and then Alex hits and gets 26 miles per hour. Stephanie's second shot is 37 miles per hour, and Alex gets 23 miles per hour. And it's not looking good, and on Stephanie's last shot, she hits 40 miles per hour. So Alex sets up her last shot, and Gordon, having clearly just watched and misunderstood the movie American Pie, tries to seduce her when she's at her lowest point and therefore her most vulnerable, as is his way. But Alex interprets it as people at work taking advantage of her by making her work late and not saving her any pie. She channels all of her hatred and hits 41 miles per hour, and the Don't Bother's moms win. But unfortunately, they get Alex on a technicality and say that she crossed the line, and so the Ducks' moms actually win. Sophie is clearly upset, and her dad signs a permission slip to let her play for the Don't Bothers. That night, Gordon comes over to congratulate Alex and again tries the pie thing. So there's this kid named Jim, and he wants to know what a woman's vagina feels like, and his friend says it's like warm apple pie. So this foreign exchange student is in Jim's room, right? And he remembers what the apple pie felt like on his ding-dong.
Would you like to come in?
And holy hell, it worked. So Gordon has weaseled his way into another fatherless home, and all is right in the world again. So that is it. We are 4 episodes down, and I gotta say, I enjoyed this one way more than the first 3. Hopefully this is a turning point for the show, and it's good to see Gordon back on his bullshit. God bless that man. Episode 5 of Game Changers begins with Gordon inviting Alex to go watch a Minnesota Wild hockey game with him. Before she can say yes, Evan's dad Rob shows up, and Gordon's hackles begin to rise. Easy, Gordon. He's not a threat to you. Rob is a traveling musician, and he hasn't seen Evan in 7 months. I'm not sure what instrument he plays, but knowing how quirky and free-spirited Alex is, he probably plays the pan flute or something. Alex vents about what a terrible father Rob is, and Gordon is just filing all of that information away for later. No one horns in on Gordon's action, especially some 2-bit flautist. Rob invites Evan to a bar to watch his band the Scunch Nuggets play, but Alex says no because it's a school night. But then Gordon swoops in and offers to drive Evan to the gig. Gordon's got something cooking, I just have no idea what.
Be careful. Last time I went to a bar with Rob, I ended up pregnant.
You know, Gordon probably sired half of the Ducks' current roster, so you should really extend that warning to every woman who will be at that bar tonight. Lauren is freaking out because she misplaced her cape, and Maya asks her why the cape is so important, and Lauren says that in 3rd grade she had scoliosis and had to wear a back brace and everyone made fun of her, so her dad got her the cape to hide it. Do you know, when I was a kid, weird deformities were best covered up with a bulky as hell starter jacket. You could hide anything under those. Maya shares that she had a similar experience when she moved here from New York, and everyone made fun of the way she talked. And she worked hard to get rid of the accent so that she could fit in. Kind of like how Mel Gibson lost his Australian accent, or how Arnold Schwarzenegger, well, he's kind of doubled down on his accent over the years, so he is not the best example. So they bond by making a video with Maya doing her New York accent and Lauren doing an Elvish accent. And Maya says she'll post it to TikTok.
That door's broken. You gotta get in the driver's side and slide across.
Gordon picks up Evan in his rusted out shitbox, and they head to the bar.
Aren't they great?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically 3 chords.
Oh, so that's his plan. Subtly belittle Evan's father. It's a classic move because it's so effective.
That was awesome, Dad.
Well, it's basically 3 chords.
Oh man, self-deprecation? Time to try a new tactic, Gordon. Despite Gordon's best efforts to hate this man, he and Rob begin to bond over their crazy stories from the road. But Gordon just makes it sad.
You've been on the road too. I mean, I practically lived on the team bus.
And most nights I sleep on the city bus because the heat doesn't work in my apartment. Most bus drivers are cool with it if you just slip them $5.
We converted the toilet hookup into a beer keg.
Yeah, and then there was a time last year where I drank out of a toilet. They shut off my water and I couldn't afford to have it turned back on. It was a whole thing.
Food eating contest. One time I ate 50 mini tacos.
Can't really afford that many tacos anymore. About a month ago, I fought a rat for the last piece of bologna. It tasted delicious. The bologna wasn't bad either. Wink. Rob and Gordon decide to have a wing eating contest, and this is probably the first time that Gordon has eaten this week, so Rob is at a serious disadvantage. And they go way past Evan's 9 o'clock curfew, and Alex gets pissed and shows up to drive Evan home. The next day at school, Lauren is upset because Maya never posted the TikTok that they made together.
Our video isn't cool enough for your friends.
As an adult, I am struggling to stay connected with this storyline. Lauren confronts her and Maya says that she didn't want people to make fun of Lauren, but Lauren isn't buying it. But it's clear that Maya was just embarrassed by her. And in an ironic twist of fate, Maya tries to talk to Lauren in front of her friends, and Lauren is embarrassed to be seen with Maya, and Lauren is actually way shittier than Maya ever was.
You're embarrassed.
You don't know the difference between a longsword and a rapier. Do you know how lame you seem?
So Rob told Gordon to apologize to Alex with a stuffed animal and that it works every time. And so Gordon does, and Alex freaks out because Gordon reminds her of her ex and wonders why she keeps falling for the same type of guy, and says that she can't go to the wild game with him. Gordon and Rob go out for drinks, and Gordon then invites Rob to the wild game and says that they need to leave soon if they want to make the Don't Bothers game. Just then, Rob gets a text saying that his band was booked for a gig in Madison, and they have to be there by 9, so Rob will have to miss Evan's game. And Gordon gladly drives him to the airport. The Don't Bothers are playing the Hawks, who are now the second worst team in the league. The franchise went downhill fast after Coach Riley was fired for pulling a John Kreese and choking out McGill. The Hawks suck so bad that the league wouldn't even let them have cool team colors anymore. Black jerseys are for something cool, like the Vipers. Both teams are fighting to not be the worst team in the league. The Don't Bothers are 0-5 and the Hawks are 1-4. And Evan is playing terribly because he's mad that his dad didn't show up. And Gordon is driving Rob when he drives past the exit to the airport and, oh my god, Gordon's gonna kill him and dump his body in the woods. Then he's gonna have to put on Rob's clothes and buy a ticket under Rob's name, scrub down the inside of his truck to remove any remaining DNA, and then burn Rob's jacket. Then Gordon has to try to make it to the Don't Bothers game to establish an alibi. It'll be close, but if Gordon just focuses on the goal of having sex with Evan's mom, then he just might be able to pull this off. Don't chicken out now, Gordon. This is what you've worked for. And this piece of garbage isn't gonna stand in your way.
You know, Rob, I was 10 years old when my dad died. And after that, I missed a big penalty shot in the state finals.
Oh, really? You've never mentioned that before. Gordon is trying to get Rob to realize that being there for his son is what's most important, but Rob is pretty dense.
Yeah. Oh, hey, if you turn right at the next street, you can take 34th to the airport. It's just right. What are you doing? Turn around. I'm getting out.
Door's broken, man.
And I just realized that the door handle being broken trick is the exact move that Ted Bundy used once he got his victims in his car. I'm starting to think that Gordon isn't a safe person for anyone to be around. Like, how many times has Gordon kidnapped people? Like, what if this area has the highest rate of fathers who have all abandoned their families, but then it turns out that Gordon is actually a serial killer? So Gordon clearly realized that several people at the bar saw him leave with Rob, so he was forced to call off his plan. So Gordon makes it to the game with Rob, and Evan then plays like a drugged up beast. Evan is high on his own supply. Of fatherly love, that is. Oh my god, that's awful. Who wrote that? Oh, sorry, boss. Damn it, Jerry. Who taught him how to use the computer? Evan then single-handedly ties the game at 4. There's 20 seconds left and they decide to run their new play, the double helix.
This is called a double helix.
I think Gordon knows what play it is. This is the man who invented the flying V. He also invented something called the Minnesota Miracle Can. But it's actually just a can of White Claw that he filled to the brim with Goldschlager. I don't know. But I think that one's just for the ladies. Evan goes all the way down the rink and scores, and the Don't Bothers have finally won their first game and are now officially tied for the worst team in the league. So in Mighty Ducks rules, that means the championship game is tomorrow between the Ducks and the Don't Bothers somehow. Alex is getting ready to thank Rob for coming when she hears him telling his bandmates that he missed his flight because Gordon kidnapped him. Alex says that she'll go to the Wild game if the offer still stands, but Gordon says he wants to take Evan. Man, Gordon is so good at this. Look at her. She's putty in his hands. Things are going so smoothly, he might even be able to reattach the door handle on his truck. The following day at school, Trevor tells Evan that Coach T was at the Don't Bothers game and wants to meet with Evan about rejoining the Ducks. We are now officially at the halfway point, so that means everything will start to fall apart next episode before they can pick themselves back up again. And I just wonder, how is this season going to end? Is it going to be a Rocky ending where the Don't Bothers lose but they win in life because they go the distance? Or a Rocky IV ending where the Don't Bothers train in a barn and destroy the roided up Ducks and end the Cold War? Or Rocky III, where Coach T makes sexual remarks towards Alex and then inadvertently causes Gordon to have a heart attack, and the Don't Bothers destroy the Ducks in order to exact their revenge? Or Rocky V, where both teams just play street hockey and none of it counts for anything. The options are limitless. Well, actually, if you're just going by Rocky plots, then the options are actually extremely limited, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. Game Changers Episode 6 is called Spirit of the Ducks. And when we last saw him, Evan was told that Coach T wanted to talk to him about rejoining the Ducks because Sophie left and they lost another player to a leg injury. Evan is initially hesitant, but Coach T tells him that he'll get more exposure with the Ducks.
Well, what do you think your mom would say about a college scholarship? With us, you could look good for a full ride.
Now, normally I would say that Coach T is just blowing smoke up Evan's ass, but sadly in the Mighty Ducks universe, this is probably a factual statement.
I know the hardships of being a single mom. I've dated plenty of them.
I'm starting to think that trolling for single mothers is actually a requirement for being a Ducks head coach. And Coach T tells Evan to come to one practice to see how he feels. Gordon is driving to work when a construction worker accidentally breaks his window, and that worker is none other than one half of the Bash brothers, Fulton Reed.
Coach Bombay? It's Fulton. I thought you looked familiar.
You know, it's been 20 years. I ran into my old football coach like 5 years after I graduated, and that dude had no idea who I was. For this scene to be truly believable, it would have to be several minutes of Fulton over-explaining who he was and what year he played for Gordon, only for his coach to unconvincingly say, "Oh yeah, so what are you up to these days?" Even though it's painfully obvious they still have no idea who you are. And you part ways again, and then the next time you hear about that coach is because they died in a car crash or something. At least that's been my experience. Fulton tells Gordon about the 25th anniversary Spirit of the Ducks Gala, which is exactly what it sounds like, a high-profile banquet honoring a Pee Wee hockey franchise. Which reminds me, the 25th anniversary Spirit of Bob Evans Gala is coming up to commemorate the greatest Little League baseball team this town has ever seen. Shout out to Willie B. Bob Evans never quits, son! Instead of practicing, the Don't Bothers are celebrating their first win, and they tell Evan that Tabor and Havel want to join the team, and they don't speak much English because they just moved here from the Czech Republic. I love these two kids already. Evan starts to get mad and tells them that they need to practice because they have to win 9 more games if they want a shot at states, and everyone laughs at him. I would laugh at him too. That's just ridiculous. And you know, Evan had better watch out. He is starting to give off some strong Charlie Conway vibes. Gordon is frantically trying to find the invitation to the gala, and he confirms something that I suspected but didn't want to say out loud.
You do have a home, don't you?
Yeah, here. It's the rink manager's penthouse. It's in the basement.
Gordon, the basement of a hockey rink? Quite literally, how far have you fallen? Alex's boss, Stephanie, is the head of the gala planning committee, and she tells Alex that they purposely didn't invite Gordon because he's such a loser now and doesn't represent the best of the Ducks. I added the loser part, but it was heavily implied. So because the Don't Bothers had the audacity to celebrate a win, Evan takes Coach T up on his offer to join the Ducks practice.
Evan Morrow, welcome home.
Feels good, doesn't it, Morrow?
Hell of a practice, Morrow. So, what do you say? You back in?
And they treat Evan like he's a freaking stud recruit visiting a D1 school. And Coach T even invites Evan to join him at the Ducks Gala. Alex lets Gordon know that he wasn't invited to the gala, and it cuts him pretty deep. This is what Gordon gets for caring about something again. Alex finds out that Evan is thinking of rejoining the Ducks, and when Evan gets home, Alex tells Evan that it's his decision to make. You know who should have some input? Is Sophie. She destroyed her entire prospects to join this team after Evan fed her the line of bull about just playing hockey for fun. And there is no way she would believe that freeing up Sophie's spot on the roster wasn't Evan's plan all along. Gordon meets some of the old Ducks for a mini reunion. You've got Fulton, who now works in construction, Averman.
Okay, I don't want to brag, but I take a limo to work every day.
I have no idea what that means. Connie is a state senator, and she's married to Guy, who is a stay-at-home dad. Adam Banks is a public defender, and Ken Wu has a sweet mustache. I don't know, they don't say what he's up to. And the mustache just adds to the mystery. And still no Charlie. He's gotta be dead in-universe, right? Charlie missing an opportunity to talk about Ducks is just not something that would happen if he was still alive. And they're excitedly talking about the Ducks Gala, and Gordon abruptly tells them that he's not going. The Ducks feel like Gordon has been avoiding them because no one has heard from him in years.
Don't tell me Charlie was right. He didn't come because he said it's not like you've been showing up for us lately, so why should he show up?
So Charlie is alive, and he still bases all his decisions on what Gordon does or doesn't do? Again, I have not tried to stay in contact with a single coach, ever. Gordon tells the Ducks that they should just all move on, and then he takes off.
We named our kid after that guy.
Ew, Gordon Germain? Sounds like a 70s porn star. But honestly, so does Gordon Bombay. Pretty much any name with Gordon for some reason. Evan goes to Gordon for advice, which is really his first and biggest mistake right there. And Gordon tells Evan that if he wants to be a Duck, then he should just be a Duck. Because the only one who's going to look out for Evan is Evan. So Gordon is back to not giving a shit. So the gala begins, and it is a veritable who's who of northern Minnesota elites. Like, I don't know. That guy's probably an alderman or something. Evan shows up and wisely realizes that he should just do the opposite of whatever Gordon says and tells Coach T that he doesn't want to join the Ducks. Evan talks to the original Ducks and lets them know that Gordon wasn't invited and that's why Gordon was being so weird about not coming. The shoving an entire basket full of mozzarella sticks into his coat pockets before leaving was just Gordon being Gordon. So the Ducks head to the Ice Palace to convince Gordon to go to the gala. Oh, that's why Averman needed to drive a limo to work every day. And oh dear God, turn into the skid, Averman! You're gonna hit him! Oh, Jesus, that was so close. So the Ducks show up to the gala just as they're about to award Coach T with a Ducks Lifetime Achievement Award. And they hijack the mic and they all give impassioned speeches about how great Gordon is and how he deserves that reward. I bet a lot of people in the crowd are whispering things like, "Oh my God, is that Gordon Bombay?" And, "Oh my God, isn't that the guy who was trying to sell old iPhones out of the overpass?" Fulton then gets the entire room to chant Bombay. Bombay, 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 Bombay. Well, actually, the Ducks chant Bombay and kind of cuts away before anyone else chimes in, but I'm sure the whole crowd was just thrilled that Gordon was there. Actually, knowing Gordon, he's probably burned every single bridge in this room. The next day, the original Ducks joined the practice with the new Don't Bothers, and things are finally coming together, and Gordon accepts the assistant coaching position for the Don't Bothers. But things can never go well for too long, because someone posted a video of Evan practicing with the Ducks on Instagram, and the rest of the Don't Bothers are pissed. Guys, where are you going? It was a momentary lapse in judgment, but then he decided he didn't want to end up like Gordon. Guys! Wow, this team really is like the old Ducks. Holding a grudge over a perceived slight that is easily explained? That is classic Ducks. So that was episode 6, The Spirit of the Ducks. And Disney should have just given them the budget to just bring back as many old Ducks players as possible. I want backstories for all of them. I don't care how weird it is. And I'm not going to make any jokes about Goldberg. He's trying to get his life back together. So there's only 4 episodes left, and I honestly have no idea where this is going to go. It's weird that they came right out and said that the Don't Bothers need to win 9 more games. Like, usually you don't mention that and just hope that the audience doesn't notice that a horrible team has somehow made it to state. And the fact that they do say it leads me to believe that the Don't Bothers are not going to make it to state. At least not this season. I mean, are you really going to explain 9 wins from this team in 4 episodes? But on the other hand, Coach T does keep talking about how the Ducks have won 10 straight titles in a row, and you don't really bring that up unless the underdogs are going to just destroy you and become the new champs. But it should also be noted that this team has a long way to go. Like, Logan still doesn't even know how to skate, Nick is terrible with 0 confidence, and Coob can't block any goals. So really the only way for this to work is if it turns out that Tabor and Havel are just hockey gods. Please let that be the case. We've finally made it to the Mighty Ducks Game Changers Episode 7, Pond Hockey. And this one is going to be about 3 minutes long because absolutely nothing happens in this episode. I'm going to have to pad some time with like an unboxing video or maybe a let's play of Myst or something. Episode 7 begins with a Don't Bother still pissed at Evan for going to one Ducks practice. If it was me, I would have just let it go by now. So Alex locks them in the locker room in the hopes that they'll work it out. But eventually their anger over Evan's betrayal spills over into everyone lashing out at each other over every little grievance they have, and even Tabor and Havel are working through some unknown grudge. We know literally nothing about these two, so they could be fighting about absolutely anything. Maybe some unresolved blood feud between their families back in the Czech Republic. And you know, I could not think of anything that would have happened when I was 12 to make me this angry. And I mean, this didn't happen to me, and for once I was not involved in this incident. But one time at basketball practice, a couple kids peed in another kid's Gatorade and he drank it and immediately got a bloody nose. I don't know if drinking pee causes bloody noses or if it was just a coincidence, but that kid was definitely right to be mad. He probably wishes that the worst thing that happened to him was that one of us practiced with a different team. The Don't Bothers aren't getting anywhere, and just then the power goes out at the Ice Palace and Gordon can't get it working, so he takes the team to the pond where he learned how to skate. The first drill they do is the soft hands drill, and instead of eggs, Gordon has them use their cell phones. And nothing humorous happens. It's just the same thing, but with cell phones. Like, at least have Tabor and Havel have, like, flip phones or something. To make amends, Evan gives up his captaincy and says that he won't wear it again until he's earned it. Sophie says that they should either all be captain or no one should be captain, and they all forgive Evan. Okay, so we're done with everyone being mad at him, so now we can just move on. The team is celebrating having a practice, but Sophie is actually still mad at Evan. I mean, granted, she's the only one who has a legit reason to be mad, but she should have gotten over it by now. I mean, let's move this storyline along. There are only 10 episodes in this season, and you're going to have a weird filler episode? You know what? I'm doing it. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Distracted Gaming. So awesome to have you here today. Today's epic playthrough is the classic PC game Myst. Really stoked about this one, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. All right, let's dive right into it. Ooh, it's like we're flying, huh? It's awesome. I love this game growing up, you guys. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and please be sure to smash that like button. All right, let's get into this. Gordon's next project is to get Coob to actually try to be a goalie.
Coob, your hands are fast. Your feet are like two potted plants. Any team finds that out and we're toast.
I'm pretty sure the whole league knows this by now. Gordon terrifies Coob into thinking he's about to fall through the ice, and now Coob is just a stud goalie. That was it. Alex is also having a crisis because she feels that she's not good enough to be a coach.
Well, no, see, he's an actual coach. I get out there, I'm worried they're gonna fall down. It just makes more sense for him to step in.
We don't have time for your self-doubt. But after a pep talk from Stephanie, she rejoins practice and immediately tells them that they're going to practice blindfolded.
Whoa, hold on. Say what?
It's such a terrible idea that even Gordon thinks it's a bad idea. And this is a man who incorporated a lasso into his practices. The blindfold idea is an unmitigated disaster. And you know what? I think the next practice should be a variation of crossfire and have the kids shoot guns at the puck from opposite ends of the ice. It would be just as effective. So Alex's newfound confidence is again shattered and she runs away in disgrace. Let's see what's happening in Mist. Okay, so I set all the switches. All the water should be going towards this thing, but why is this elevator not working? I made all the water go to this pipe. Game makes me so mad. And to keep the theme of this episode alive and kicking, Sam then tells him that he's quitting the team because Evan was the first person who looked at Sam and said that they needed what Sam has. But he's upset because if Evan could just betray them so easily, then what is the point of all this?
But we need what you've got. We need you to be crazy. You're our X Factor.
X Factor?
But Evan gives him the cool nickname and he's fine. Whatever moves this along. We finally get to the Don't Bothers game against the Hornets, and Evan smooths things over with Sophie with some weird product placement.
I got you this. It's a knee compression sleeve from Target.
Coke, Pepsi, and Doritos all passed, but knee compression socks from Target said, hell yeah, we'll sponsor this episode. Okay, so we have one more problem to solve, which is the second time we've seen them try to solve this problem this episode, and Gordon has to give Alex another pep talk to make her be head coach again. So the Don't Bothers manage to tie the game with 30 seconds left, and Alex, with her newfound coaching confidence, has them run the final play with their eyes closed. I don't know why. I mean, it has something to do with them knowing each other well, and they know every inch of the ice, but, like, I've lived in my house for a long time, but if I close my eyes, I'm knocking over a lamp eventually.
Hey man, why are your eyes closed?
And so begins the slowest play ever in hockey, when Evan passes the puck to Lauren, who then holds it for a few seconds, and then passes to Maya, who slowly turns and hits the game-winning goal. The play only worked because the Hornets were so confused and terrified as to why they have their eyes closed. Like, seriously, this play could have easily been stopped by just one Hornets player doing literally anything. I mean, do the writers know that you can run plays that are designed to work more than once? I don't think in the history of this franchise they've ever just ran a normal play. Everything is a Hail Mary shot. So the Don't Bothers win their second game and just need to do this 8 more times. This show. It's almost done. We're almost through. Oh my god, finally, after a month and a half, I have finally beaten this game.
We meet face to face. And the page, did you bring the page?
What?
You didn't bring the page.
What page?
Who are you?
Excuse me? I just spent the last 6 weeks trying to help you. Oh, I'm a fool? I'm not the one who got trapped inside a book. I mean, I did just now, but I'm not the one who got trapped inside a book first.
Welcome to Dunny. You and I will live here forever.
God, why didn't I save? Why didn't I save once? You know, I am hemorrhaging subscribers at this point. A thank you for trying would be nice. Episode 8 begins with Nick scoring his first goal, which also happens to be the game-winning goal. He's brimming with confidence until he gets upset because even though he scored the game-winning goal, all the girls still flock to Logan, the hockey player who can't even skate. Totally unfair. We learn that Coob hasn't changed his socks since the Don't Bother started winning, and he convinces everyone else to not change or wash their socks also to keep the winning streak alive. Gordon, incidentally, hasn't changed or washed his socks or underwear all season, but that is just for completely unrelated reasons. In his words, he likes it grimy? Ew. Gordon, what the hell is wrong with you? And Logan is down in the dumps because now that Nick has scored a goal, Logan is the only Don't Bothers player who hasn't scored yet. So does that mean that Tabor and Havel have both scored a goal off camera? Are we ever going to learn anything about these two? Logan wants to be liked for being good at something and says he feels like a loser.
Oh, there's a couple of girls outside who disagree. One of them asked me about your situation.
You know, Logan's going through something here, Gordon. Can you just focus for a minute? Also, Gordon seems way too invested in the idle gossip of little girls. And so Gordon takes it upon himself to help Logan get better at hockey, which is usually what all practices are for. Has no one tried to help this kid learn how to skate all season? Alex is struggling to keep up her mantra of only playing for fun because she's stoked that the team is winning and wants them to continue winning. It's like I said, the only way to truly have fun playing a sport is if you win. Because winning is more fun than losing. It's not rocket science. Alex is at work and is on such a winning high that she single-handedly saves a project that was about to go under and... Hold up. Am I the dumbest person alive, or have they literally never mentioned that Alex works for the Ducksworth law firm? How the hell did I miss that? Like, I know I miss a lot of stuff, but good God, that's like a major one to miss. I am like 99% positive they've never mentioned that before. And they didn't even mention it here, I just happened to glance at it. And apparently none of you have watched this show, so no one can help me out on this. And I apologize, you're getting all of your information about this show from me, and I missed this? What else have I missed? So Gordon begins teaching Logan how to skate, and Nick is upset to learn this because he feels that if Logan gets good at hockey, then Logan will have everything. I mean, except the mom that loves him. I mean, Nick has two. Logan doesn't even have one. Winnie tries to cheer Nick up by saying that he's got a lot going for him.
Well, like school. You're great academically.
Not really. I'm a solid B- student.
Huh. Guess you just seem like someone who's...
Smart? Yeah, I got a total math face.
I completely get this. People always assumed I was good at school, and that could not have been further from the truth. Farther from the truth? See? I don't know! Because I was a terrible student who just happened to wear glasses. Sophie's parents are all in now that the Don't Bothers are winning, and we learned that the Ducks have already clinched first place, but if the Don't Bothers win the next 6 games, then they will be in second. And Sophie's parents tell Alex that they need to step up the intensity in regards to their training. I think you can guess where this is going. Alex also gets interviewed by the local news about juggling home life and the team, and is interspersed with scenes of the Don't Bothers absolutely dominating the rest of their games, including against the Hawks again. Man, Adam Banks' dad is probably rolling in his grave right now. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, Mr. Banks is totally dead. He fell off a cliff when he and his wife were vacationing in Hawaii. It was ruled accidental, but witnesses claim they heard an argument between Mr. Banks and his wife moments before he fell. Like, it was a huge scandal. And she's currently dating some 20-year-old podcaster who goes by the name of Rad Chad. It's like everyone knows that she did it, but there's no evidence to back it up. I don't know if Rad Chad had anything to do with it, but I wouldn't put it past him. That dude sucks.
So after a tough start, your Don't Bothers are 1 win away from clinching second place and a spot in the state tournament.
How long was that interview? So the Don't Bothers are doing better than they really ever should. But the team is pissed at how hard Alex has been pushing them, and they feel like they're getting farther and farther away from the putting fun first motto of their team. The morning of the game against the Huskies, Logan shows up early to the Ice Palace to cook pancakes for Gordon, and Gordon realizes that Logan's good at flipping pancakes. Oh my God, you can just see the insane hockey gears turning in Gordon's head. And since Gordon subscribes to the idea that every hockey player needs a gimmick, he has Logan practice flipping the hockey puck on a stick.
Hey, I did it.
Uh-huh. You're ready.
For what? He's basically just Dwayne Robertson at this point. Alex and Evan are eating pizza when Coach T comes by to talk trash, and Evan feels like they're losing sight of why they formed the team in the first place. Again, this is why playing for fun does not work. You initially start playing for fun, but if God forbid you get good and start winning, then you want to win more, and you eventually become the asshole team who only cares about winning until another team forms who just wants to play for fun, until they get good and start to dominate, and it's just an endless hockey human centipede. Nick finally confronts Logan and says that now that Logan has a signature shot, Nick will be back to being nothing and he's jealous of Logan. Logan tells Nick that he's jealous of him.
I mean, you're great at school.
No, I'm not. Why does everyone keep saying that?
Like, this show has its moments, and it could be really funny if they would just lean into that. Like, he has the greatest lines on the show. Just copy the writing style for Nick and just translate it to everyone. Kind of like what the OC did. How Seth Cohen had his signature self-deprecating, snappy one-liners, and then everyone on the show started to talk like him. Even Ryan's brother, who was like a career criminal. The show was so weird, but I loved it. So the game is going back and forth, and Gordon keeps trying to get Alex to put Logan in, but she keeps shutting him down. And the game is tied with just a couple minutes left. Alex calls a timeout and is being a complete psycho, and refuses to let Logan play because she wants to win.
We're one win away from proving that winning isn't everything.
She is clearly drunk right now, either on power or White Claws, or both. Nick distracts Alex so that Logan can go in, and when Logan gets the puck, he picks up the puck, not unlike a pancake, and he wins the big game. So spirits are high because the team is going to state, except for Lauren, who is still upset with Evan for practicing with the Ducks. I'm just kidding, but wouldn't that be something? So everyone is excited about going to state, even if it means going with just the dumbest team name ever conceived. And because they need an unnecessary conflict, Alex is pissed off when she gets to the locker room.
It might have been a W, but it's only because of some trick play.
Yeah, that's kind of been the MO all along. Has she not studied the last 20 years of Northern Minnesota Pee Wee hockey? It's all trick plays, all the time.
I am the coach. You have to listen to me. You can't just do whatever you want. Can you imagine if you did that with Coach T? He'd trash the place.
Alex storms off, and they all agree that Evan has to fire his mom. So we just have 2 episodes left, and we got through Gordon being a dick, and now we have to deal with Alex being a dick. Do they not know that they only have 10 episodes per season on Netflix? Because you know they're going to spend all next episode, and probably some of the last one, dealing with this shit. And Sophie's upset because she left the Ducks to get away from this kind of stuff. And I agree, it's weird. It's like no character acts in any way believable. We only have 2 episodes left. Like, I imagine at state, Alex is going to be screaming at him, and then a video of that will immediately go viral, and she'll check her phone in the middle of the game and see what a monster she's become. And instead of running a play and winning the game, she tells them to have a dance party, and everyone's laughing and finally having fun while the Ducks just score like 20 straight goals and win. A few weeks ago, that would have been a joke, but now I'm not so sure. I could be spot on. The Mighty Ducks Game Changers Episode 9, Head Games, begins with Evan psyching himself up to fire his mom as head coach. Alex respects the team's wishes and says she's not going to go to state at all. And also, a little thing about this show is that they all say they're going to states.
Don't fathers are going to states!
This is the first year you can compete for states, right?
We really gotta win like the next 9 in a row if we really want a shot at states.
Unless we make it to states.
Which seems like an odd way to say it. Like, we always just said going to state. Is this an actual thing now, or is it just more of the show being weird? So Alex is out as head coach, and Gordon is now the only adult responsible for the safety of 10 minors? I feel like no one is watching out for the best interests of these children at this point. I mean, this is a man who lives in a basement of a failing business, and just a few short weeks ago was telling everyone he met how much he hates kids. There should at least be a parent chaperone. And like, he wasn't even head coach until a couple hours ago. These parents have no idea who Gordon Bombay is. On the bus ride to state, Evan tells the guys that he's going to ask Sophie to the pregame party, and he sends Sophie a text asking her, but Maya tells Sophie to ignore it because she wants them to have a girls' weekend. Sophie agrees with Maya and turns down Evan by sending 3 princess emojis and says that she'll see him there. And the girls celebrate their independence by spraying some sort of body spray. Not exactly sure what it is, but I bet they all smell like a different kind of fruit. And I don't know why it reminds me of the Zoolander gas station scene, but it does, and it's kind of hilarious. Also, that is far too many smells that they are just wantonly spraying in an enclosed space. If 12-year-old me was on that bus, I would be freaking out. I remember a 6th grade field trip and the girl sitting in front of me brought a giant bag of Cool Ranch Doritos for the bus, and I wouldn't let her open them because of the smell. She complied, and they were never eaten the whole time, and I feel bad about it to this day because I had no authority over her, but I just cannot do smells, man. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Cool Ranch Doritos, just so long as I'm eating them alone, near an open window, or preferably outside. They arrive at the hotel and everyone is excited, and the girls are especially excited for their girls' weekend, until Maya immediately ditches them for a boy named Xander. Classic Maya. I mean, probably. We don't really know much about her. The Ducks also check into the hotel, and Coach T tries to talk shit to Gordon.
Coach of the don't bothers. As in, don't bother getting unpacked, because you're not going to be here long?
That's true. We might not be here that long.
Yeah, I know. That's what I just said. As in, you do not belong here.
Yeah, I mean, it came as a surprise to all of us.
Nice try, Coach, but Gordon doesn't care if the don't bothers belong or not. The dude gets to sleep in a room with an actual bed and indoor plumbing. He is living large this weekend. And a free continental breakfast, like kings will live. Evan is being interviewed by Mary Jo from the Wraparound podcast, and I think it's funny that the Wraparound is Nick's podcast and he still can't get an interview. So Evan asks Mary Jo what to do if you really like a girl and don't know how to ask her out, and like any show that ever aired on TGIF, Mary Jo thinks that Evan is asking her out and she excitedly accepts his offer. At that same time, Sophie was going to tell Evan that she would love to go to the dance with him until she sees Mary Jo hugging him, and Sophie storms off. And forget TGIF, this is now literally every sitcom that has ever been made. So Alex goes to the office to get some work done and finds Stephanie at the office, and Stephanie tells her that she's going through a divorce, which, I don't know, seems kind of like an unnecessary subplot so late in the game. Kind of like how in the last season of Dexter, where they just introduced Masuka's illegitimate daughter who now worked for the police department. But in all honesty, Dexter was about 80% unnecessary subplots. Still absolutely love the first 4 seasons though. Stephanie finally shows some vulnerability and says that she envies Alex because she and Evan are so close. Alex tells her that she's not that great a mother and that Evan fired her as a coach because she was turning into a monster obsessed with winning. Alex and Stephanie then proceed to get drunk and play hockey in the office, and they finally start to bond. Nick confronts Evan about going to the dance with Mary Jo, and Nick is pissed because he likes Mary Jo, and Evan says that he didn't ask her out and that he'll just tell her what happened, but Nick wants him to go through with the date to not break her heart. So Evan is being nice to Mary Jo while Sophie shows up at the party with Trevor. So Evan fully embraces his date with Mary Jo to make Sophie jealous, and I never thought I would say this, but let's check in and see what the hell Gordon's up to. So Gordon is in the hotel bar, and Coach T says that he doesn't like what the sport has done to him, and that he feels that Gordon has a certain magic about him when it comes to coaching. And Gordon then tells him the story of how he was forced out of the NCAA because he gave money to a high school recruit. But Coach T says that Gordon was right and that he probably would have done the same thing. But in all fairness to the NCAA board that ruled against Gordon, I'm sure every coach who has tried to bribe a player has said that they were just trying to help out a kid who was down on their luck. No one's going to admit to that shit. Evan asks Sophie to talk and leads her into the photo booth. But instead of just explaining the situation, they get into a fight and she storms off again.
Now eventually you do plan to have
Hockey?
on your
Hockey program?
right? Hello? Hello?
And Evan breaks things off with Mary Jo, and Mary Jo says that she was just using Evan to make Nick jealous.
I'm really sorry if I gave you the wrong idea. I just didn't want to give off any bad vibes.
Don't worry. We're not a thing. I was just using you to make Nick jealous.
And this is the second time this show has done the thing where a less popular person totally disregards the feelings of someone who's considered more popular, and they're being super rude about it while the other person was just trying to spare their feelings the whole time.
I feel terrible. Can we talk?
Wait, are you friends with her?
You don't want your cosplay crew to know you're friends with me.
You don't know the difference between a longsword and a rapier. Do you know how lame you seem?
It's weird, and I don't like it. So the morning of the game, the team is eating breakfast when a rep from the American Youth Hockey Association tells them that there's a problem. Evan calls Alex in a panic to tell her that Coach T ratted out Bombay to the league officials about why he was fired from St. Paul State, and now Gordon might not be able to coach. What a dick move. So even though they're a youth organization, they are NCAA certified, and therefore Gordon's college coaching ban applies in this situation.
Decades ago, I made a mistake. I wanted to win at any cost, and it ended up costing me almost everything. The most important thing that I know about being a coach is believing you can change and grow.
Gordon gives an impassioned speech about growth and learning from your mistakes and his newfound love for children and hockey, and it's beautiful and moving, and they go ahead with the ban anyway. And also, Gordon saying that he wanted to win at any cost, and that it cost him everything, seems to heavily imply that Gordon wasn't just giving that kid money out of the kindness of his heart. Gordon intentionally broke the rules, and he knows that this board would be able to find that out anyways, so there would be no use lying to them like he's lied to everyone else about this story. I mean, I doubt that's what the writers actually have planned, but could be. Alex and Stephanie show up, and Alex says that she's Gordon's lawyer, and she says that in order for the league to keep their NCAA certification, the tournament needs the prospective student athletes to be coached by an NCAA-approved coach, which Gordon is not. However, the definition of prospective student athlete is a student who has been scouted and shown interest by one of the institution members, and no scout ever visited the Don't Bothers. Oh man, and that was also one of the things that Evan tried to use to get Sophie to come play.
Thing is with the Ducks, there's a lot of awesome players on that team. It's really hard to stand out there.
If you came and joined us, it would actually increase your recruiting prospect.
Oh, what a little liar. It's a good argument for reinstating Gordon, I guess, but it kind of makes the case that the Don't Bothers aren't eligible to play in the tournament at all. But they decide that Gordon can still coach, and the team welcomes back Alex. So the team is heading back to state/states, and Evan and Sophie make up, and Evan says that he likes her. The team arrives at the complex ready for battle.
Fun battle.
Yeah. Fun, battle, yeah. And you know what? Despite everything this show has pulled, I am looking forward to the season finale. Not just so I can stop doing these videos, but because I am fully invested at this point, and I have to know how this plays out. Finally arrived at the season finale of this almost hockeyless hockey show. So the Don't Bothers have made it to state, and full disclosure, this whole time I thought that the Don't Bothers were going to go to state and just play the Ducks for the state championship. Like, it wouldn't have made any sense, but the series doesn't really thrive on believability. But it turns out that this is actually a 32-team full tournament, all crammed into one weekend. Oh my god, and it is sponsored by Target. So round 1 begins, and the Don't Bothers' first game is against the Maroon Marauders. And we get 30 seconds of the Don't Bothers effortlessly winning and moving on to round 2. Round 2 sees the Don't Bothers playing the Caribou, and 15 seconds later, the absolutely stud Don't Bothers underdogs completely demolish their opponents. And I hope the Don't Bothers can reach deep down and learn about sportsmanship and fair play and just continue to dominate in every game they play.
They came in as the ultimate underdogs.
The Don't Bothers are the number 2 seed in the state.
The Ducks clinched the first place spot, but if we win the last 6 games, second spot's ours.
Like, there's a pretty specific formula to underdog stories, and while they're overused and cliche, they really are quite necessary for an engaging story. But instead of being the plucky underdogs, the Don't Bothers came to this tournament with a target, on their backs, because they are ranked higher than 30 other teams at this tournament. And also, I should say, I was compensated for that Target plug. They hauled a dumpster full of defective picture frames in front of my house, and I had 30 seconds to grab as many as I want, while Target staff hurled invectives at me like, "Yeah, roll through the slop, piggy," and "root around our trash, you filthy, disgusting cow." But joke's on them, I got 10 really nice frames.
These Don't Bothers have a very different approach.
What, they're all wearing penny loafers instead of hockey skates because Alex had a dream about it or something?
Actually putting fun first.
You know, if I was the Renegades here and my opponent scored on me and began spinning that player around on the ice, I would just think they were taunting me. This is only putting fun first for the Don't Bothers. And in what should have been the entirety of the previous episode, we see the Don't Bothers easily advance through to the semifinals in 3 minutes. Seriously, they crammed all of that in before the title screen. And Sophie's knee injury is acting up, and Koob is upset because his parents haven't come to a single game. And the Ducks have already advanced to the final round, and if the Don't Bothers win their game tomorrow, they'll play the Ducks for the championship the following day. What a terrible tournament structure. The Ducks get almost 2 days to rest before the championship game? That's outrageous. And you know what else is outrageous? The great deals on pleated slacks at Target. Target. Because no one has to know you bought it here. So we get to the semifinals between the Don't Bothers and the Lumberjacks, and they are just absolute beasts.
This one's for you.
You go, baby! Where's Mom? Where's wife?
Telling you, the show could be great if they just made several changes. So the Don't Bothers are getting manhandled when Koob notices his parents in the stands, and Koob is then filled with dad love with a heapin' helping of mom love, and he activates beast mode. And if this looks familiar, it's because this show already did the same exact thing with Evan and his dad. Sophie scores but gets knocked down and messes up her hurt knee, and the Don't Bothers win by a score of 1-0 and are heading to the championship game. So the day of the title game is upon us, and Sophie's knee is completely jacked. And Evan tells her that she can't play on her hurt knee, but she says that if they don't have an active 10-player roster, then they will have to forfeit. And she makes Evan promise not to tell anyone.
The rules say we need at least a 10-person active roster or we're not allowed to play.
I mean, you can still be out there and just sit on the bench and then let, Tabor and Havel play? I mean, I know Sophie's the sharpshooter and all, but honestly, I think we've only seen her score like 1 goal. Evan tells Alex, and the medic checks Sophie out and says that she can play, but if she falls the wrong way or gets hit, she could do permanent damage to her knee. Everyone says she shouldn't play, including her super competitive parents.
No matter what our bumper stickers say, we care way more about you than hockey.
Well, now I'm curious about what your bumper sticker does say. Sophie says she has to play and yells at Evan for telling Alex about her knee.
I have to play. 10 players or we forfeit.
I mean, again, you don't have to tell them that you're hurt. Just sit on the bench and let someone else play. Sophie says that she has to play and that they're not going to forfeit the game because of her. The team then has a nice symbolic Spartacus moment, and everyone says that they will not play so that Sophie doesn't have to feel responsible. It's a pretty touching moment to show that this team will do whatever it takes for one another. So all right, huddle up, guys, and let's get out there and destroy the Ducks. And oh my God, they actually did forfeit. What? What the hell? So the Don't Bothers forfeit the game, and the Ducks win by default. I don't know anymore. I will say that this show is shattering the underdog sports movie formula, but not in a good way. So after the game, Coach T is talking trash, and Alex and Gordon tell him that he didn't really win anything, and so they agree to an exhibition game at the Ice Palace tomorrow morning.
Let's settle this on the ice.
You had a chance to settle this on the ice, but one player got hurt and your whole team just crumbled. Coach T says that if the Ducks win, then the Don't Bothers can never play hockey again.
If there's one thing I know about our team, it's we don't walk away from a challenge just because it's hard.
You walked away from the state championship game because you didn't want to let the 2 foreign kids play.
If you win, we walk away. If we win, we take your name. If we win, we become the Mighty Ducks.
And that may seem weird, but that is how we got the name Bob Evans. See, Bob Evans was a powerhouse team, and I was cut from them. And I was so upset that my mom formed a new team called Greg Septic Service with my Uncle Greg as a sponsor, and we challenged Bob Evans to an exhibition match for their name, and like half the kids on Bob Evans got mono, so we got the name Bob Evans by default. My Uncle Greg was pretty hurt, though. He thought that would be a real boon for his business and a chance to bond with his nephew, but, come on. It's my chance to play for Bob Evans. Couldn't pass that up. But we did quickly learn that I was cut from the team for a reason. I sucked so bad that we lost every game after that, and Bob Evans ended up pulling their sponsorship anyways. I haven't talked to my uncle since. So we get to the weird exhibition match with all the players that they could have just played in the championship game. The only difference is that they're playing in a dumpy ice shack that Gordon has definitely had sex in. Real step up there. So the Don't Bothers go up 1-0, and Coach T wants the Ducks to play dirty because there's only one ref, and they begin to destroy the Don't Bothers. You know what game would have had the appropriate number of referees to make sure that everyone was following the rules? There's 1 period left, and the Ducks are up 3-1. Spirits are down, but Sophie says that they've already won because they're a family, and everyone says what playing for the Don't Bothers means to them.
We, like to hear.
Thumb up.
Oh, Tabor and Havel. What a waste of 2 characters. They all say they feel like winners and are ready to head back out there.
Now, come on. Let's get out there and play some hockey. Let's not play for the championship.
Don't worry, you already messed that up. And Gordon has one more surprise for them, and what the f***? So the Don't Bothers are now wearing the old Ducks jerseys like they're playing for Team USA or some shit.
Hey, dude, ever heard of blindfold hockey?
Oh, dear God, no. Oh, not this again. So the Don't Bothers are playing like a team possessed, and they manage to tie the score at 3. The clock is running down, and the Don't Bothers bust out the Flying V. The longest running play in hockey to never actually work. But it does work, and the Don't Bothers win and are now the Mighty Ducks. Coach T throws a fit and says that they're not the Ducks because nothing was official. But since Stephanie is on the board of a youth hockey team, is that a thing? Anyways, she says that the deal is official and the Don't Bothers are now the Mighty Ducks, and Coach T storms off, but I don't know how this would actually work. Seems like Coach T would get the best of both worlds here. The Don't Bothers would be gone, and yeah, they're the Ducks now, but isn't he still head coach of the Ducks? Can't he just cut them the next season? Because it's not like they're going to make all the current Ducks just not have a team, so wouldn't the Don't Bothers just be absorbed into the new Ducks? I guess.
How does it feel to be a Duck again?
Real good.
I love how the theme was that it didn't matter who you played for, just so long as you had fun, and how quickly they just abandoned their whole team name for a better one. So that was the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Yeah, I don't know. I guess season 2 would be nice to, root for the Mighty Ducks again. All right. See ya. Jiggle the handle on your way out. Make sure the door locks.